Let's start lying on our backs, taking a moment just to arrive in our practice today. Whether you're doing this in the morning, you just need a moment to just bring your thoughts into your body, or you're doing this later in the day maybe, and we've already had some stresses in the day, and we just need to bring our focus back into ourselves and into our bodies and into our minds. So just taking a moment, slow your breathing down, and just be present with your body on the mat. We're going to focus today's class, today's sequence on detox and digestion. I'm doing this now as it's fast approaching Christmas time and it's winter, so inevitably we have a lot more rich food, maybe a lot of food we wouldn't normally have, and possibly a little bit more alcohol, and sometimes a little bit more stress, trying to get presents, not having enough money, all of those joyful things, which do end up making for a joyful day somewhere. But all of these things impact our bodies, our minds, and our digestion. So if we're stressed, we don't tend to digest as well, and we hold a lot more toxins in our body. And also, like I mentioned, with the change of diet and things like that, it can just be a little bit hard to push everything through. So this practice today is just going to help us move everything along inside of our bodies and just help get rid of some of our stress and toxins as well. Okay, so start bringing some awareness into your body. Start thinking about bringing your breath in and out through your nose, deep into your bellies, wiggling your fingers and toes. And then hugging your knees in towards your chest. Bringing your head up to your knees for a second. And then rocking and rolling up and down on your spine, finding your way to a comfortable seated position. Finding yourself comfortable in your seat. And we're just going to take one big inhale in through our nose. And as we exhale, we're going to exhale through our mouth and sigh audibly as we do it. So inhaling in. And exhale. One more time. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Just to start releasing some of those toxins, carbon dioxide from our bodies. And now we're going to take part together in what's known as the universal repair breath, also known as the 6-6 breath. So we breathe in for a count of 6 and we exhale for a count of 6, both in and out through our nose this time. And it's called the universal repair breath as it helps us lower our heart rate, lower our blood pressure, and also just helps, like I just mentioned with the last breath, just release some of those toxins from our body. So we're going to start on our detox already. So following me, we're going to inhale in for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just doing a couple of rounds here in your own time, keeping that 6-6 count. When you're inhaling in, breathing deep down into your belly, so feeling your belly fill up with air, coming nice and round like a Buddha's belly. And as we exhale, squeezing all the air out of our belly, drawing our belly button back in towards our spine, and just pushing everything out. And at the end of your next exhale, on the count of 6, just releasing the practice there. If you had your eyes closed or your gaze soft, then just bringing yourself into the room, opening your eyes up. Good. And we're just going to do some gentle movements just to wake our bodies back up. So rolling our shoulders, bringing our shoulders up towards our ears, taking them back and down. I'm just doing this a few times in this direction. If it's clunking, that's good, because we're just releasing out all the tension that we've been carrying. And changing direction, bringing the shoulders forward. Good. And bringing our hands together, clasping them together in front of us, and we're just going to circle our hands around on our wrists and just move them out. So for me, this one I find really effective. I don't know if you can hear, but my wrists really, really clunk. I spend a lot of the time at a computer on a keyboard and a mouse, and my wrists just don't get the love and movement that they need, considering that repetitive action. So this one's really, really good at just loosening that out. So make sure you're doing both directions, a few on each side. And releasing, bringing our hands up, and we're just going to shake it up, shake it up. Give yourself a little shimmy. Feel good, good. And hopefully that's just put a bit of fire, a bit of life into our bodies before we start the practice. So we're going to be doing lots of twists and turns and circular spiraling movements during this practice. I'll explain more as we go along why we're going to do it. But basically, the blood and energy and everything in our body runs through in a spiraling motion. So think about a plug hole where the water spirals down. It's kind of the same in our body. So the more we do these spiral circular movements, twists and turns, we're going to help our body with that natural flow of movement. So our blood can get through, and then it can carry all the fresh blood, the fresh oxygen to all of our bodies and our organs, and just help keep everything nice and clean and detox. So be prepared. So bringing your left fingertips down to the floor, inhaling, lifting your right arm up next to your ear to find some length. And then exhale as we bend over towards the left side as a side bend. So reaching up and out of the right hip. And reaching over to the left, fingertips pointing over to the left. And making sure you're sitting down through both of your sit bones still. Keeping nice and balanced in the middle. And just feeling yourself open up through the right body. And exhale as we bring the right fingertips down to the floor. Inhaling, bringing our left hand up, reaching out of the left hip. And then exhale, reaching over to the right hand side. Still taking those nice deep breaths in and out, in through our belly. So inhaling, filling our bellies up with air. And exhaling, squeezing it all back out. And coming back to center. We're going to do the same thing again, but adding in just a little bit of a deeper option if you want to, or if it feels nice for you today. So this time bringing your left palm completely down onto the floor, or the whole of the left forearm down, so the elbow down as well. And then inhaling, the right arm coming up and reaching over to the side there. So either palm down, we're just bending deeply into the elbow, or if you can manage to reach down, then that's fine. It feels good, you can do this option. Breathing deeply in and out through your nose, right down into your belly. And inhaling, coming back up. So right palm coming down flat on the mat and bending deeply into your right elbow, or bringing the whole right forearm onto the floor as we inhale, left arm up and over. Think about opening your chest up towards the sky, letting all that positive energy come into your body. And coming up to center. So from your seated position, we're just going to roll ourselves forward, coming into all fours. We're going to take a couple of cat and cow movements here. So firstly, we want to make sure that our wrists are underneath our shoulders and our knees are underneath our hips. And we're in a neutral spine position just to start off with. Before we take any movements, just think about rolling your shoulders away from your ears, so letting them retract down your back. And keeping your fingertips, making sure that your fingertips are grounded into the floor, keeping you safe and secure, knees, shins, everything just nice and deeply melting into the floor to keep your balance and center. And then as we inhale, we're going to lift our chin and our chest, scoop them forward, coming into our cow position. Again, shoulder blades coming down our back, tailbone lifting up towards the sky, belly dipping down towards the floor. And as we exhale, bringing our belly button up towards our spine, arching our back, chin tucking into chest, pushing the floor away with our fingertips. And inhaling, scooping the chin and chest up again. Exhale, pushing back into the cat position. Really pulling that belly up. And just going through a couple more of these movements here in your own time, connecting into your breath. And then slowly from here, we're going to come into our extended puppy. So we're going to keep our knees, our hips stacked above our knees, and we're going to walk our hands out in front of us, letting our chest melt down towards the floor. So again, keeping your fingertips planted down into the floor, middle of your hands slightly lifted. And then think about wrapping those shoulder blades down around the ribs and down the back. So here we want to think about our arms being as though they were in our downward dog position, but then obviously our knees are down on the floor. So this is why it's a puppy and not a full dog. So feeling your chest melt down towards the floor, but not touching it. And on the next exhale, we're going to take the left arm under the right armpit and thread the needle here, coming to gaze under our right armpit, side of the head on the mat. And then from here, you can either bring the right arm up towards the sky, or you can leave it down if you want, or you can bring your hands to heart center and use that pressure between the hands to help you twist more, looking up and over the right shoulder. Whatever's comfortable for you. And releasing down, right arm back out straight, and slowly picking yourself up, letting the left arm come out. Take a couple of breaths here in that full puppy. I don't know if you just heard my shoulder clunk. That was insane. And then this time, exhaling, taking the right arm under the left armpit. Gazing under the left armpit, right side of the face, down on the mat. And the same options apply, so staying here, or taking the left arm up to sky, or hands coming at heart center into prayer, and taking your gaze up over the left shoulder. Whatever feels nice for you today. And left hand coming back down, right arm coming out in front as well. And just spend a couple more breaths in this puppy. deeply breathing into our bellies. And then bringing your feet together, pushing yourselves back into a child's pose, wide leg child's pose. Palms of the hands on the floor. Bring your third eye down to the floor if you want to. And just take a moment here. And then bringing your knees together and walking yourselves back up using your fingertips, coming to find a kneeling position. Good, and once you're here, we're going to bring our arms out by the sides into cactus arms. So our elbows and arms are a right angle to our body. And we're going to do some movements similar to those cat and cows, but obviously we're up on our knees this time. So we're going to inhale as we take our arms back and lift our chin and chest open towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing the arms together in front of us, scooping that belly in, belly button towards the spine, letting the chin drop down towards the chest. Inhale, arms coming back, opening up the chest. And exhale, letting the arms meet together in front of us, chin dropping down. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, calming to meet the arms together. And one more of each here. And just coming to release your hands down. So I know I've said a couple of times about making sure we're breathing nice and deeply, filling up our bellies and exhaling, squeezing all the air out of our bellies. And this just helps move everything around as well. So we're giving our organs a bit of an internal massage because we're changing the shape of our abdomen using our diaphragm, taking in those deep breaths. And then everything just gets a chance to move around. I don't know if you can hear, my stomach's already going. I had a nice big almond croissant this morning and it's making its way around now with that nice massage breath. So that's why we're doing that. Okay. And then we're going to inhale, bring our right arm up in line with our ear. And exhale, taking it to point over our left knee. And then the left arm just coming to meet the floor behind us. Take your gaze over the left shoulder. You don't have to be completely turned around, just as far as you want to go at this point. And I'm really feeling that twist through the abdomen as you twist around. And coming back to center. Inhaling, left arm coming up, finding length, opening up the body. And then exhale, taking the left arm to point over the right knee, right hand on the floor behind us. And then gaze towards the right shoulder. Again, feeling that nice twist through the abdomen. And back to center. Going to inhale, bring both our arms up this time. And then as we exhale, we're going to take our right arm back and our left arm forward. Taking another twist here, but really reaching out through both of your fingertips, using that strength to help twist you around using your core, and then still breathing into our bellies. Coming back to center, take a moment. And then inhaling, arms back up again. And this time, taking the left hand back, right arm forward, twisting around, gazing towards the left shoulder. Really strong, pulling out from both of those fingertips. Actively think about using your core muscles and your obliques, the side of your abs here, to help pull you around and twist you around. And coming back to center, relax. And from our kneeling position here, we're just going to walk ourselves out into a plank. Just coming up onto our toes, shoulders above wrists, and a nice strong straight line through our body. Taking a moment here. And then pushing our hips back up towards the ceiling, we're going to come into a downward dog. So heels drawing down, fingertips planted down into the floor. So thinking about that puppy pose we were in earlier. So our chest melting down towards the floor, our shoulder blades retracting back, but obviously this time we're up on our feet as well. And then just taking any movements here that feel nice, so maybe walking out the dog a little bit. Moving the hips side to side, having a little wiggle, looking under the armpits, whatever feels nice for you. Maybe deeply bending into the knees and then pushing the hips back up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to come down through a vinyasa next. So following me, we're going to roll forward into our plank position. And you can stay in a fully extended plank, or if you want to, drop down to your knees and come down through this option. Think about wrapping your elbows in towards your torso, taking your gaze down and forward, and then slowly lowering yourself down towards the mat, elbows pointing back towards the back of the room. And then pushing up, coming into an upward facing dog, or if you want a lower option, just coming into a cobra here. And from here, we're going to tuck our toes under and push ourselves back into a downward dog. And then bending deeply into our knees, taking our gaze forward between our hands, we're going to step up towards our hands, coming into a forward fold Uttanasana. Take a moment here, bring your belly down towards your thighs. And engaging your glutes, so your butt muscles. We're going to use that in our core to help roll us up slowly to standing vertebrae by vertebrae. Coming to find our Tadasana, mountain pose. So feet just a little bit closer than hip distance apart. Palms of the hands facing forward. Shoulders rolling back and down. Crown of the head drawing up nice and tall, keeping our core strong. We're going to find our chair pose from here. So we're going to, from our pelvis, bend back. So sitting back as if we're meeting a chair or a bench behind us. Sitting back down. Good. Weight coming into the heels of our feet. And from here, inhaling as our hands come up in line with our ears. Just gazing softly down in front of you. Taking a couple of moments here. You should be able to see your toes in front of your knees. And bringing your hands together in heart center in front of you. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, twist round towards the right hand side, hooking our left elbow over the right knee, sitting back into those hips, into the chair, and using the pressure of the left elbow on the right knee to help twist you round, gazing up over the right shoulder. And I'm still thinking about breathing nice and deeply into our bellies. And exhaling, coming back to center, maybe standing up for a moment if you need to. Just walk out those legs. And then sitting back into your chair if you came up. Hands to heart center. Inhaling, lifting the chest and the crown of the head. And then exhale as we twist around towards the left-hand side, hooking the right elbow onto the left knee, taking the gaze up over the left shoulder. Breathing deeply into our bellies. And then exhale, coming back to center, taking a forward fold. Maybe grabbing onto your opposite elbows here, taking a ragdoll, and just having a little wave out. Side to side. And then again, engaging our glutes, our butt muscles, Slowly bringing ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae to stand in our mountain pose. From here, we're going to step our right foot back, coming to find our warrior two pose. So we want our right foot at like 45-degree angle, pointing towards the top right corner of the mat. Our left knee is bent, our feet pointing towards the front of the mat. Bending into the front knee, our knee wants to be tracking over the second and third toe. And we want to feel as though we're pressing down through the back foot, the weight coming down through the outer blade of the back foot. And then just check the alignment of your feet. So you want your heels to be in line with each other, or your front heel to be in line with the arch of your back foot. And then sitting up nice and tall, we're going to bring our hands out in line with our shoulders, taking our gaze over the left fingertips as we just sink down a little more into the left knee. Think about opening up through the hips, tucking the tailbone under slightly, keeping the shoulders down. And we're going to flip the front palm up towards the ceiling as we reverse our warrior in a side bend. So right hand coming down the back of the right thigh. Still bending into that left knee, and left arm coming up and reaching over. Really feeling this stretch up through the left body. And then slowly bring the left elbow down towards the left knee. Let the right arm scoop down towards the mat and up over the right ear, coming to find our side angle pose. Think about that top shoulder rolling back towards the back of the room so the chest is nice and open. And then just make sure that your knee's still tracking over the second, third toe and hasn't fallen in or out. And also just be conscious that you're not dumping all the weight down into this elbow, because we're not just leaning here, it's not chilling. We want to be able to lift that arm off and know that we can still catch ourselves in this side angle pose. And that we're using our core strength and these obliques here to help hold us. Good, and we're going to come into triangle from here. So slowly start straightening the front leg. Let the left fingers point down towards the left ankle and the right arm reaching up in a nice straight line. Your gaze can be down towards the floor, can be towards the screen, hello, or up towards the right fingertips, whatever feels nice on your back and your neck. There's no right or wrong here. Just practicing whatever feels nice for you and beneficial. I mean, not all of it's just going to feel nice and rosy all the time. It might be a little bit difficult sometimes, but that's fine. And then think about rolling the right shoulder back so our body's in one nice straight line. And then bending into the front knee, the left knee, coming back up into our warrior two. Just for a moment, find that alignment. Stretching out through the fingertips, shoulders rolling back and down. And then turning the left toes in and the right toes slightly. So both our feet are parallel, pointing towards the same direction. We're going to come into a forward fold here. So again, folding from our pelvis from here. So we just want to literally bend in half. So engaging our glutes, engaging our core, standing up nice and tall, maybe hands on your hips if that feels nice. And then just bending down, letting our head slowly drop down towards the mat. Hands coming down to the mat if that feels nice for you. Maybe widening the feet out a little bit, depending on where you're at today. And just taking a few moments here. Inhale, filling up the belly with air. And you'll feel yourself naturally lift as you do so. And then as you exhale, squeezing it all out, see if you can just deepen into that fold a little bit more. And then slowly walking both your hands round to frame the right foot at the other side of the mat.
We're going to come to find our warrior two again. So think about your left foot at 45-degree angle, the right foot pointing towards the front of the mat, and then sitting ourselves up into warrior two. So again, knee tracking over second and third toe on the front, weight coming down through the outer blade of the left foot as we come back. And then the left foot at that slight angle. Pulling out through both the fingertips, sitting up nice and tall in that torso, and gazing over the right fingers. Bending into the right knee. Think about tucking the tailbone, opening up through the hips. Literally, as well, if you just take your hands and feel like you're pulling your hips open, even just that slight touch will just help your body figure it out somehow. Always helps me. It's a little self-adjust. And again, we're going to reverse our warrior from here, so flipping the front palm and bringing the left hand down the back of the left thigh and taking this as another side bend. Still bending into that right knee. Opening the chest up to the sky and feeling like you're lifting out the right hip all the way through the obliques, the rib cage, and then the arm. Then slowly bring the right elbow down towards the right knee, coming to that side angle pose. Right arm scooping down towards the floor and up and over the ear. Again, check your knee alignment, deep and down into that front leg. Rolling the left shoulder back towards the wall. In my case, the wall anyway. It depends what's behind you. And still tucking that tailbone under, lifting out of the left hip. And again, just maybe take that right elbow off and make sure you're not just putting all the weight down into the right knee. We're not relaxing, not yet. And then coming into triangle pose, so slowly start straightening the front leg. Right fingertips down towards the right ankle and left arm up in a nice straight line. And again, think about rolling the right shoulder back. So you want to feel like you're trapped in between two panes of glass here. And that's what kind of alignment you want your whole body to be in. So nice and straight, nice and strong. And don't move because you might break the glass. Oh no. Breathing here into the belly. And then slowly bending into the right knee, picking yourself back up into our warrior two, gazing over the right fingertips. Take a couple of breaths here. And then turning the right toes in, again bringing our feet into a parallel alignment. And we're going to take another fold. So inhaling as we lift up out of our hips, through our chest, crown of the head drawing up. And then exhale as we fold down, crown of the head drawing down towards the floor. Hands coming to meet the mat, or fingertips, wherever you're at. And then taking those feet out wider again if you want to or need to. Taking a couple of breaths here. And this time we're going to bring our right hand onto the outside of the left foot or just above the left ankle. And the left hand coming onto the lower back. And we're going to twist round using the pressure of that right hand on the leg. Twist ourselves looking up over the left shoulder. Staying here for a few breaths. And releasing that center. You can do the same thing on the other side, so just get your balance and your grounding and your center back. And then taking the left hand onto the outside of the right foot or just above the right ankle. Right hand on the lower back. And then using the pressure of the left hand on the leg to twist yourself around, looking up over the right shoulder. So I said I'd explain more about these twists and why we're doing them for the purpose of detoxing and digestion. So what happens when we twist? Our abdomens and our organs kind of, it's like a tourniquet, so you're kind of restricting the blood flow, which doesn't sound pleasant, but it's fine in this instant. And yeah, so everything kind of slows down a little bit. And then when we release, like now, so exhaling, release back to center. the blood flow all just suddenly whooshes back to the area where it's restricted from. And it just kind of helps to just like push everything through, give it that little like jolt it needs. And then all that fresh oxygenated blood comes into that area and it pushes out all of those toxins, and it just lets everything flow back through that spiral motion that I talked about before. It just keeps everything moving around. Sometimes everything just gets a little bit sluggish in our organs, and we just need that little like a little kick everything back off again. Cool. And then walking around to frame the left foot. Hands both planted on the floor, stepping back into our plank. And we're going to come down for a vinyasa again, like we did earlier. So again, your options are coming down to your knees, or we can stay in a full plank and rolling ourselves forward, tucking those elbows in, wrapping them around our torso as we lower ourselves down towards the floor. Inhale, coming up to cobra or upward dog. Exhale, tucking our toes under, pushing back into downward dog. Hips coming up towards the sky. Shoulders wrapping down the back of our body. Grounding down through the fingertips. Heels drawing down towards the floor. Belly drawing in towards the spine. Still breathing. And then from here, we're going to bring the left foot forward towards the left hand and drop the right knee down towards the floor, coming up into a low lunge. So find your position here. Sit your torso up over your hips, tuck the tailbone under, draw up nice and tall through the crown. Going to bring our hands to heart center. Find your balance. Inhale, lifting up. And as we exhale, we're going to twist around, hooking the right elbow over the left knee and gazing up over the right shoulder. And you can open up your arms here if that feels nice. So the fingertips and right coming to the floor, left fingertips coming up to the sky. And coming back to center, framing the left foot, stepping back into our plank. And then this time bringing the right foot forward towards the right hand, letting the left knee drop down, sitting back up into our low lunge. Just take a moment to find your center, feel grounded. Hands to heart center, inhale, lifting up nice and tall. And exhale, twisting towards the right hand side, hooking the left knee, left elbow over the right knee. No good when you don't know your knees from your elbows. Oh. And falling over. Sometimes happens, which is absolutely fine. Twisting, looking over the right shoulder. And then again, you have the option of taking the arms out long. So left fingertips towards the floor, right fingertips reaching up. And just using the pressure of the left arm on the knee to help twist you around and open up a little bit more. Still breathing nice and deeply into our bellies. And releasing round, framing the right foot, both the hands on the floor, stepping back into plank. And from here, you can just come into a downward dog and take a few moments here, or we're going to come back for another vinyasa. So from our plank, you can bring your knees down if you'd like to, or just tucking your elbows in, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And then tucking the toes under, exhale, pushing the hips up, downward dog. So if you're in downward dog already, we're now all with you. That laugh was really creepy. Sorry, I think it was like half an exhale. Bit of a sigh of relief being in downward dog, and then like partly a laugh, and it just sounded really creepy. And then bending deeply into our knees, taking our gaze between our hands, stepping forward, coming into our forward fold. Just for a moment here. Inhale, bring our palms to our shins, flat back, crown of the head drawing forward. And exhale, planting both our hands down on the floor. And we're going to take our left foot back, let our left knee drop down, coming into that low lunge again. So your options are, we can stay here in this low lunge variation and do the same thing that we just did. Or this time you can tuck the back toes under, coming up into our high lunge, and then do the same thing. So hands to heart center. Inhale, lifting up through the crown of the head, and exhale. I've gone on the wrong foot, but that's fine. You can twist around towards the right hand side, left elbow hooking over the right knee. Good. Gazing over the right shoulder. And again, your options are to stay here with the hands at heart center, or you can extend the fingertips out using the pressure of the left arm on the right knee to help twist you around, looking up towards the sky. And then exhale, coming round, framing the right foot, stepping the right foot back into plank. And this time the left foot coming towards the left hand, dropping the right knee down. Take a moment here in low lunge. And again, your options apply. So if you just did low lunge on the other side, sticking with it for this side, or if you want to come up into that high lunge, bring your hands to heart center, tucking the back toes, and sitting up into our high lunge. Good. Take a moment here to get your balance. Inhale, lifting the crown of the head up, and then exhale, twisting the body towards the left, hooking the right knee over the left, right elbow over the left knee. Breathing here, gazing up over the left shoulder. And then again, your option to extend the fingertips out if you'd like to, opening up more through the chest. Oh, goodness, I'm all over the place on this side. And framing the left foot, coming into our plank. And again, option just going straight into downward dog or taking another vinyasa here, rolling forward, elbows wrapping in towards the torso, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, up dog. Exhale, tucking toes, hips up, downward dog. And from here, lowering the knees down towards the mat. Bringing our feet together and just dropping back into a child's pose for a moment. Forehead to floor, hands down into the mat. Taking a couple of breaths. And slowly walking ourselves back out, forward, and then letting ourselves come down towards the mat, lying on our front. Going to bring our palms of our hands underneath our shoulders. And then feel like you're tucking your elbows in towards your rib cage. And they're both pointing back towards your heels. We're going to come up into our cobra. So planting the hands down, fingertips grounded. Inhale as we scoop our chin and our chest up, pushing our hips, our pelvic bone down into the floor. And then just letting the lower back bend a little bit as we pick ourselves up, shoulders relaxing away from the ears. And we don't want to be pushing too much into our hands here, so maybe just see if you can lift your hands up a little bit and know that it's your core and your glutes and your back keeping you lifted. And then exhale, slowly rolling back down, forehead to the floor. We're going to bring our feet and our legs together, hands coming down by the side of our body. And then slowly just lifting our forehead a little off the floor. Going to come into our locust. So as we inhale, we're going to lift our legs. So our toes are pointing straight. Our toes are pointing straight. And our arms are pointing back towards our toes. And we're going to roll up onto the fleshy, soft part of our belly. So inhaling. Pushing everything up, lifting. Good. Balancing on our pelvis. Reaching the fingertips back. And exhale, slowly releasing down, forehead to floor. Pushing ourselves back into a narrow leg child's pose, knees together. Pushing all the way back. And just taking a moment here, maybe bring your arms down the side of your body. Whatever feels nice. And slowly bringing ourselves up to kneeling. So we're going to make our way into seated position with both our legs out in front of us. So either you can just bring your legs around, or try a different type of transition with me if you'd like to, just for a bit of fun, because yoga is fun too. So bringing our hands down by our knees, lifting our butt and just crossing our ankles over each other. Going to push up into our hands, lifting our knees up off of the floor. And then from there, the aim is that we just kick our feet through and come into seated. If you've got a super grippy mat like mine, and you can't quite lift yourself high enough, then your feet get caught and it feels really weird because all the skin stretches. But yes, doing this. Anyway, so coming up, sit with your legs in front of you, along the mat. Going to come into a double leg forward fold. So inhale, sitting up nice and tall, maybe just taking your butt out from underneath your sit bones, just so you're grounded and nice and strong into the floor. Inhale up, and then exhale, just folding forward, drawing the forehead towards the feet. Grabbing onto the outside of the feet if you want. And then taking a bend into your knees if it feels nicer for you today. Really reaching the crown of the head towards the feet. If you bent your legs, maybe think about just trying to straighten them out a little bit now. Really stretching out through the hamstrings. Still deeply breathing into our bellies. Filling them up with air, fresh oxygen. Exhaling out all of those toxins. Then slowly come back up to seated position. We're going to do a seated twist now. More twists. You love it. And so we're going to lift our right knee slightly. And then the left foot, we're going to scoop under the right knee onto the outside of the right hip. So once we're there, then I'm going to take the right foot onto the outside of the left knee, plant it down. And then we're going to inhale, take our right arm back behind our lower back. Left arm coming up towards the sky, and exhale, hooking the left arm over the right knee and twisting to gaze over the right shoulder, or towards the right shoulder at least. And again, feeling that nice twist through the abdomen, breathing in deeply into our bellies, filling them up with air. And again, thinking about that kind of like slight restriction of the blood flow whilst we're doing this pose. And then in a moment when we release and exhale, all that fresh blood is going to rush into our organs and it's going to be going, yay, I love you, thank you. And all those mince pies are going to be working their way through. And releasing back to center. So we're going to swap sides. So right leg coming out, left leg coming out. Slight bend in the left knee as we take the right foot under on the outside of the left hip. Then left foot onto the outside of the right knee. Taking the left hand behind our lower back. Inhaling, right arm coming up towards the sky. And exhale, hooking over the right knee as we twist to gaze towards or over the left shoulder. Again, thinking of those obliques and your abdominal muscles really twisting and turning around. So using those to help push us around and keep us in that position. Gentle pressure of the elbow and the knee just to help us twist a little more. Inhale, filling the belly. And exhale, seeing if you could twist around a little more.
And exhale, slowly releasing. So bringing our legs back out, but this time we're going to bend at our knees, feet out in front of us. And we're going to come down to the mat, but very slowly. But before we do it, I've actually got a surprise for you, which I forgot about until I just said it. So congratulations. Surprise time. This is your Christmas present. So leaning back until we feel our core engage. So kind of feel like the biting point of a clutch on a car. So leaning back until you really feel those ab muscles holding you up in space. Good. And then bring your arms out to the side of your knees. And then from here, coming up onto your tippy toes. If this is enough for you, then staying here, or if you want to try it and come a little bit deeper into this pose, bringing our feet up in line with our knees, using that core to keep us steady. And think about your back still being nice and straight, so not straight as in up towards the sky, but straight as in we're not curving either way. So nice and strong, using our core. And then we're going to bring our palms together, crossing our thumbs. We want to keep both of our knees together in the middle in this straight line, so they don't want to be moving side to side as we come into the next part of this pose. Remembering any point coming onto your tiptoes. So we're going to inhale and then exhale, bring both of our palms to the right side. Inhale, center. Exhale, both the palms to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Keep going like this. And like I said, we want to keep the knees steady together in the middle so they're not moving around. And we're just using our abdomen and our obliques to twist us around side to side, coming onto your tiptoes at any point. This is such a nice surprise. I'm bet you're glad I remembered this and didn't miss it out. You love me. One more on each side. Coming to center. Hands releasing out to the side of the knees, and then slowly rolling down, inch by inch, coming down towards the mat. Releasing the feet down. Oh, God, that's nice. That was good for you, I promise. Okay, so just hugging the knees in towards the chest for a second there. Maybe bringing your forehead in towards your knees. Rocking side to side for a moment. And letting the feet come down towards the mat. So we're going to come into an inversion now. So we've got a couple of options. You can come up into bridge pose and hold there, and that's lovely, and it's really good and does everything an inversion wants to do anyway. So if that's your limit for today, then absolutely fine, go with it. Or you can try and come into a shoulder stand with me. Some people just don't like shoulder stands, which is fine and kind of understandable. So again, just choosing whatever option works for you. If we're going to come into bridge, our knees are going to be bent, and we just want to kind of tickle the back of our heels with our fingertips, and that's how far your heels should be away from your butt. Think about the knees and the feet being hip distance apart. Grounding the shoulders down into the floor. Inhaling, and then as we exhale, we're going to use our butt muscles, our glutes, to push our hips up towards the ceiling. So the movement is coming from our butts and not our lower back. And we're using our core and our glutes to hold us up in space here. And then rolling back onto your shoulders. And like I said, just staying here if this is the better pose for you today. That's great. Bridge is a great place to be. And if you want to try shoulder stand, rolling back down. I'm going to bring our knees up in towards our chest and then rolling back so our knees are coming down by our ears. Taking our hands on our lower back, kicking the table if you're me, behind you. Getting comfy onto your elbows, and then slowly taking your legs up towards the sky, supporting the lower back with your hands. And then try not to put too much pressure in your neck, in your head, wherever you're at. So whatever version of your inversion you found yourself in today, just taking a few breaths here. Inversions are really good for us because we obviously spend
most of our time the other way up, so on our feet, with our heads above our feet as a rule. So it's really nice to just give ourselves a bit of time the other way up, reverse the blood flow, and it helps just bring lots of like nice oxygenated blood towards our head and our hearts. And again, this is detoxifying because all the fresh oxygenated blood comes in and it kicks out all the old toxin blood and then replaces it with all the nice fresh blood. And also healthy brains, fresh blood, fresh oxygen, everything like that just leads to nicer, happier thoughts. So we all want a bit of that. And then wherever you're at, slowly reversing out of your inversion, the opposite way you came in, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae. Bringing your feet to the mat, knees bent, hands coming out by the side in cactus arms or in a straight line, whatever you've got room for. And then just dropping both of the knees to the right. And then over to the left. Taking a couple of these movements here. And we're going to come to center, finding ourselves ready for some lying twists. So like I said, arms out in line with the shoulder if we don't have room around us, cactus arms, absolutely fine. Taking our left leg long along the mat, we're going to bend our right knee in towards our chest. And then exhale as we take the right knee over towards the right hand side, gazing over our left shoulder. If it feels nice and you want to, maybe just taking your left hand on top of the right knee to help bring it down towards the floor with the weight of gravity. And trying to keep the right shoulder grounded down into the floor. Feeling that twist through the tummy again. Breathing into the belly, squeezing all the air out as you exhale. And coming up to center, letting the right leg go long across the mat this time, and the left knee coming in towards the chest. And exhale as we take the left knee over to the right side, gazing over the right shoulder, left shoulder. Right hand coming on top of the left knee, if that felt nice on the other side. Just taking a couple of breaths here. And back to center. Knees bent. I'm just hugging the knees in one more time. And we're going to come into that again, but I'm going to give you another option if you want to maybe deepen the stretch a little bit. Entirely up to you, or just staying there if that felt really good. It's absolutely fine to arms out in whichever position you've got room for. Taking the left leg long along the mat. And this time bringing the right leg up, but straight this time. Like I said, keeping the bent option if that's suiting you today. Heel up towards the sky. And exhale, taking the right leg to the left in a straight line. I am now officially cheating because I've kicked the radiator. So not quite all the way down. And then gazing over the right shoulder. Both shoulders down into the floor. And slowly releasing, coming back to center, right leg going long along the mat. Left leg coming up, kicking it up straight, heel towards the sky. And exhale, taking the left foot to the right, gazing over the left shoulder, rolling the left shoulder down into the floor, and breathing here. And releasing back to center, feet on the floor. And then you can hug your knees in, maybe taking a little rock side to side, massaging out the lower back. staying here if it feels nice, or you're welcome to join me in taking a happy baby next. So to do that, we want to bring the soles of our feet up towards the sky, let our knees drop down in towards our armpits, holding onto the outside of our feet with our hands, and just using that gentle pressure to help draw the knees down a little more. Sometimes when we take a transition like this, our bodies kind of tense up because we made a weird movement. So think about releasing back down, letting your tailbone roll down towards the floor, shoulders melting down, away from our ears into the ground, back of the head relaxing, and just letting the hips, pelvis open as the knees draw in. Maybe slowly rocking side to side, if that feels nice. If not, just staying here. Don't know if you can hear my belly gurgling. The digestion thing's working out for me anyway. Hope it is for you. Oh my God, it's really going for it. Can you hear it? Happy baby, happy belly. And then slowly coming out. Feet down to the floor. And letting your legs come long as we find our Shavasana. So palms of the hands up towards the sky. Our hands a little bit away from our body. And our feet just come wide. Ankles flopping out towards the sides. Shoulders relaxing down away from our ears. Closing the eyes if they're not already. And just take a moment to think about how you're feeling now. Maybe just giving yourself a little internal thank you for taking some time just to nourish your body and your mind for this practice today. We often neglect time for ourselves in our day-to-day lives, just as bizarre as we are the only thing keeping us going. So it is essential that we make time for ourselves. Now releasing any breathing practices you had, just letting your breath be soft, letting everything completely relax now. We're going to take a good few minutes here in relaxation. I mentioned earlier that a really important part, as well as all of that twisting and turning and detoxing, another part of helping our digestive systems and detoxing our bodies is stress management. Definitely something none of us get enough of. It's really hard to achieve a lot of the time, but this is a great way to do it. Just give yourself a few moments. And if we help look after our digestive systems and our guts and everything, this will help our minds create happier thoughts. 90% of our serotonin, so our happy hormone, is made in our guts, and it's sent up towards our brain through our gut-brain axis, and then it releases out, spitting all those happy hormones into our brains. But obviously, if we're all tight in there and stressed and everything's all clenched and not moving, then it's pretty hard for that to be achieved. So not only is relaxation good for your gut and your soul, it's good for your mind and your thoughts. So just focusing on really relaxing down every part of your body now. So feel your ankles and your feet feel heavy as they drop out towards the side. Calf muscles melting down in towards the floor. Thighs, butt, hips and pelvis all melting down. Front of the hips just opening up as you relax. Slight natural arch in your lower back. Upper back and shoulders melting down towards the ground. Letting the floor just give you a little hug. Shoulders, upper arms
elbows, forearms all feeling heavy into the floor. Palms of the hands melting down into the ground. Palms of the hands open up towards the sky, letting all the energy come in through the palms. I feel like I just said palms one too many times. Back of our neck and head releasing down. And then think about the space around your face just easing out, releasing any tension. Ears relaxing. Forehead relaxing down, letting your eyebrows release. Releasing any creases around our eyes. Cheekbones and jaw relaxing. Unclenching your jaw, letting your tongue be free inside of your mouth. Nice, soft, gentle, natural breaths. Natural for any thoughts to come into your head, especially as you know you're nearing the end of your practice. You might be thinking about what you're going to do with the rest of your day, about treating yourself with a little cheeky mulled wine. And that's fine, thoughts come in, let them come in, and then release them and let them flow out of your mind, trying to create a nice, clear mind space. Might not always be possible depending on what's going on for you right now. It's really hard to just have a completely clear mind, I understand that. So sometimes it helps me just focus on my breath rather than thoughts. So thinking about inhale and exhale. One practice that I really enjoy is as I inhale, just silently saying in my head, let, and as I exhale, silently saying to myself, go. So let, go, let, go. Whatever's working for you now to help your mind be as relaxed and clear as possible. Just taking a few moments on your own in silence. Just carry on there. And just slowly start bringing some awareness into your body, wriggling your fingers and toes. If you're really relaxed and comfortable there, then by all means staying in your shavasana and your relaxation for as long as you wish. Or if you need to crack on with your day, join me, maybe circling the wrists and ankles. Taking a nice big stretch, hands overhead, feet up long. Eyes still closed, just rolling over onto one side. Trying to find our fetal position for a moment. And using our top hand, slowly pushing ourselves up. Coming into an easy seat. Hands to knees, sitting up tall. Keeping your eyes closed if you want. A nice soft gaze. Inhaling, bringing both our hands up towards the sky. And exhale, just wrapping your arms around, giving yourself a nice hug. Saying thank you. Thank you for taking time to care for yourself. And then bringing your hands to heart center. Closing your practice. Namaste. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope it's helped you just relax and let everything inside your body just move around a little bit more. And now you can successfully relax into your festivities and your Christmas time. Thank you so much. I will be posting some more videos in the future, so do keep having a little check back, and any feedback or anything you'd like to see, please just let me know and I'll be more than happy.